Check out a new airbrush that won't break the bank.
Pocket bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Bear, and today we are taking a look at a relatively new airbrush out there on the market that's recently been picked up, I guess in the last year or so, and been carried by some of the retailers or resellers here in the States between Amazon and individual websites and such. This is the GSI Creos. It's a Mr. Hobby airbrush made in Japan, much like the Iwata Eclipse that you probably kind of familiar with. We used it for years and years and years on our tutorials here. The Eclipse, that is. Of course, Kenny swears by the thing over there. I personally don't like it. I think the ones that have been coming out recently are clunkers and not the same quality as what was originally out there. I've seen held two in my hands. Didn't know what was going on. I was like, I don't know how this is the same airbrush. So I don't know what's going on with all that. From what I understand, they're all made at the same factory. I don't understand. Maybe they're changing whatever, internal, saving money. I don't know. But I do know that this airbrush, I've had it for about 3 months now, the GSI Creos. It's a 0.3 needle. So it's kind of a hybrid between a 0.2, which I'm used to working with right now, and a 0.4, which a lot of folks are just like, whatever. You know, the Iwata is, I believe, a 0.3 or a 0.35, so it should be about the same as what a lot of folks out there are already using in the tabletop miniatures world. So I like this. It's a cheap price point, $95, which you're like, wait, $95? But yes, it's a great starting price for an airbrush. It's reasonably priced. It's not super discounted. And I think you get what you pay for sure. I've been using this thing for a while now, been beating it up, learn as much as I can about it so I can show you guys, and we're gonna get it out, run it through its paces, tell you everything we can about it, and actually compare it to the Iwata Eclipse, which is nearly $100 more. So let's take a closer look at the product specifications first over on Spray Gunner. SprayGunner.com is your source for all your airbrush needs here in the States. They sell on Amazon, they sell on here. Price points are a little different between the two, and depending on where you are, you might get one quicker than the other. So always, check between the two, of course. But other than that, I mean, service is great. I bought 2 other airbrushes and my compressor from them. They actually sent me this Creos to talk about and review because they want to start selling more of these affordable airbrushes. They have a whole bunch of products on here, as you can see, various price points. Of course, that's just life when it comes to all that. But you can find the Creos here is under the Platinum series, and like I said, there's 2 different ones. There is a larger one here that's more robust. I don't have this. We have the 289, which is a 0.33 needle, and according to their Amazon listing, which is actually more expensive, this can also come with a 0.2 needle. I don't have the 0.2 needle, but I was pleasantly happy with the 0.3, and we're going to put it through its paces here in a second. So like I said, $95, great entry-level price point. I wish my first airbrush cost $95. It did not. Let me tell you what, for the amount of effort and to put into cleaning and maintaining this airbrush over the last 3 months, I haven't had any issues. For this price point, I'm thoroughly happy. If the 10 years ago me had met me, I would be like, F all those other airbrushes you're about to use until 2018 and buy this thing. But anyways, I digress. Obviously, I'm very stoked about this airbrush, but haven't even shown it to you yet. Okay, so apparently it used to be named Gunzi or something. I don't know about all that. I know that it's made by Mr. Hobby in Japan. They pretty much make all the same airbrushes there. I've heard that they also make the Iwatas and some of the other airbrushes that are out there on the market. It is a 0.33 nozzle. It's got the 4-part head system. There's one thing I don't like about this airbrush, and I am going to show it to you here once we get it out. It does have a built-in air valve, pressure adjustment, which I think is awesome. Unfortunately, I have a little bit of redundancy because I already have one of those on the end of my air hose, which you're about to see. And it has a standard 1/8 connector fit for you can quick fit the spray cans to it with an adapter, or of course hook it up just as normal. I think there's an option on there for like Badger compressors or something as well. I don't have any of that, so I couldn't 100% tell you, but I'm sure you can eyeball it and find out for yourself. So let's jump over to the paint table and put it through its paces. And there it is, epic unboxing time. So this is how it comes. I've reboxed it. I kept the box and everything. Wanted to make it all snazzy for you guys. I know it looks brand new. I like to keep my stuff in mint condition as best as I can before I do reviews. So there's a listing of all the features. Obviously, not in a language probably a lot of people watching this video can understand. I think it's Japanese. I could be wrong. Anywho, there is English versions of everything in here as well, so don't sweat that. Now, it's going to come with this little plastic kind of case thing. It is a little flimsy, so you got to be careful with it. But daily use, probably not a good idea, but it'll definitely, when you need to put it out of the way or store it so it doesn't get destroyed, definitely worth it. A little air hose in there. Here's the adapter valve that has the thing for your canned air if you want to go that route. And the little wrench for getting in there in the brass needle kind of head thing. We're not going to mess with that. I have messed with that. I have gotten in there and cleaned it. But just to not slow down things, I don't want to mess with that here on this this review. Now, it's going to come with some instructions and just a real quick schematic for everybody right there. This is all the parts. You got the piston packing in here. Needle packing, I believe this is Teflon. It feels like Teflon. I may be misspeaking right there. But everything else is pretty standard. It's got the GMAC, the air adjustment screw right here, which adjusts how much air pressure is coming in and mixing up here in the air chamber, of course. And then there's your 4 parts. You got 1, 2, 3, and then the needle, which they don't, or I guess it's, I guess that's up here. Is it up here? I feel like it was back. I don't know. Well, either way, the nozzle cap, the little brass kind of fitting right there, that's where that's going to be. An option that you don't see in a lot of airbrushes at this price point is the needle stopper. So if you want to just make it so you only pull it back so far, you can lock that into place, which I thought was pretty neat. And then some do's and don'ts that may or may not be in English on this one on how to actually use your airbrush there. So here it is in the flesh. Let's zoom in a little bit for you. There it is. Now it's going to come with a quick release that you can screw on. Now this was tight enough tolerances that we didn't have to use any Teflon tape. And so far, everything's just been kind of tightened to fit. So I haven't had any issues with that. Now I don't like this little end cap right here. I really actually hate it. It's stupid. I don't like it. What I actually did was I took the Iwata one, this is my old Iwata. And this is how you have to get Iwatas to work. You have to Teflon tape everything. And double check, triple check. You know, I've accidentally left a cleaner in the pot before and it ate away all the stuff. So I actually switched up the spray guard right here onto this one. And the threading's the same, so that kind of worked. Or you can just try to be super careful and just spray it without this. But, you know, you could, in theory, bend your needle right there. And that's a no-no. Here's the needle guard or the needle chuck, whatever you want to call it, and then you can just kind of pull all of the parts out together. And like I said, if you have an Iwata, you're going to see a lot of similar parts in here, because once you pull out this needle, which also is very similar looking, of course, to what you're used to in the Iwata, it's got a little bit of cleaner still in there. Remember, I had been using this. You're going to see a lot of similar parts. There's your needle chuck itself, clamp that down, and all of your packing and everything right there. Looking down into there, it doesn't look too dirty. Let's see if we can pull that for you. I have pushed a lot of paint through this, so not too dirty. Like I said, I think there's some Teflon packing in there, which keeps the water and things from coming back up into this area and getting all gummed up in your air piston right there, which you can see is exceptionally clean. I have not cleaned this as much, but if you start looking at the things like this Iwata right here, which I have used pretty heavily in the past, it's dirty, it's gummy, it's got, I mean, right there is all sorts of gunk just on that, because everything gets pushed back up into here, which if you're having that problem with your Iwata, well, now you know, packing probably isn't up to snuff up in this interior. Now some airbrushes make it so you can, you know, replace that eventually. I'm not sure this is that type of airbrush. I couldn't find any documentation on it. So I'm just gonna go with, you know, eventually if you need to replace that, it's probably the life of your airbrush has probably already outlasted your effectiveness here. Pause the video and get this back together. No, it looks so. There's that. Now, once we get this back together here, which I think it's probably a good idea if I pause the video, and then that way, well, maybe like to keep it all together for you guys. We need to look at the front because that's the 4-part little piece right there. Now this, we'll leave this out actually, just so we can show you this. So this is your needle guard and your intermediate piece right here, which is going to keep the combustion and things between the paint and the air, kind of guarding all that. Now it's a little bit different of a design from the Iwata, which you can see there's going to be the air's coming in from up there, and then it looks like it's different. Nope, it looks like the air's coming in from up there, and then your paint's going to come from the top. So your air's coming at the bottom, paint from the top from this reservoir right here, and then you use a little wrench to turn this. But you want to be very careful and just use the wrench to slowly get it into place, and then make sure you finger tight the rest of it. That is what we have done right there. And in the past, that generally works really well for the life of your airbrush. You mess that up, you're going to have to get in there with a wooden toothpick or something in order to, like, if you strip the threads in there, getting some sort of small piece of wood in there and turning generally is the only way to get those wedged threads or sheared threads out of there. Now, as far as the coating goes for the airbrush, it seems to be pretty good. I can't tell if this is a different kind of coating in the front, but haven't had any problems cleaning it. It seems very easy to maintain. Nothing has been stained. And the tolerances in the front are exceptional when it comes to the needle gap. I think they test out with like a magic marker or something. And as long as you can see light through it, after a magic marker marks on the end of the needle, then I think it's good to go, and that's how they QC it. I read that somewhere. I may or may not apply to this airbrush. I may be misspeaking in general, but that is what I remember. So I like to use the airbrush with the back off, just so it gives me a little bit more flexibility. But if you're going to put it on your paint holder, always make sure to put the back on it, not only to protect the needle from breaking off, but also to protect your face from the needle in case, well, you're stupid and you bend over and accidentally almost poke out your eye once or twice. Not that I would have done anything like that, but I'm just saying, just in case. So we are going to leave that off, get it all hooked up to the airbrush, and put it through a few paces here for you. So we've loaded in a little gray paint right there, and I think we're ready to go. So we've got this fully open. You can see where it's fully extended down, which is completely clockwise. That's going to give you the maximum pressure coming out of that. Now you can see I also have a G-Max, so I kind of have double redundancy, so that's all the way open. We're not going to worry about that. Normally I don't run this on here, but it's just easier to just so let's see what we can do here. Let's do some curly cues. Like I said, I don't pull that off. We still got pretty decent line control for the most part with that all the way down. And let's see, go half the way. Oops, wrong way. Put it back. Do about half the way. Ooh, that was a little too savage. Give it a backflow. Alright, so we're not quite, maybe 3/4 of the way. And this seems to be pretty good. A little finer control. Now remember, this is watery, so it's going to absorb. But a lot finer control. But you can see the spray pattern there. That's definitely smaller. Let's just try to go to the minimum to push a little bit of air and I'm pretty happy with that. I haven't tried anything that small, but very tight. It's almost like blowing little smoke O-rings with your smoke. So overall, 3 different options right there that don't seem too shabby as far as that goes. And you can see here, it's not building up or anything in excess on the tip right there. There isn't even any on my finger, but be careful if you remove the little protective guard here that you don't bend. So we're gonna try it out and do some burnt umber cutbacks on the gold workup we've done here on this second Sigmar expansion, Shadespire Blue. So we're just gonna grab, we've already pre-mixed our color in here, a little burnt umber with some blow improver. And we're just gonna get in the cracks and see how much detail we can save here, or maintain rather. And a decent amount, as you can see. So I'm very happy with this so far. Just getting in the cracks, nice and easy. Remember, this is a 0.3 needle. There. Push back real quick. Do some more. It's very hard to see that, so I want to make sure you guys get a good idea of what this is capable of, but we're just kind of going in the cracks. So it's a little, there we go. All right, very good. Lots of detail to cut back here. With golds, it's always very easy to do. I'll probably go over this with a little black, but I'll burn out the back ankle right there. So it's pretty easy to maintain a decent distance right here. We'll go, I guess we'll go in the bottom right? I feel like the bottom would have some there we go. And right here. Yeah, pretty easy to keep a fine line, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'll even try to get up in here. And this is with the GMAC pressure about halfway, so the airflow pressure there about halfway. So pretty easy to use. Super stoked with that for sure. Make sure I go through and do the rest of my Sigmar guys here shortly with this. Since I got it loaded up, I might as well finish it off, right? So that is pretty much it for this one. That I love this for a price point, quality, and usability. I don't think there's a better airbrush out there for 95 bucks. Now, I didn't try that 270. They didn't send me that one, but they did send me this one, and I am super impressed by this. Like I said, if I could skip having ever used the Iwata Eclipse, I definitely would have. So if it's time for you to pick up an airbrush, this is a great entry level, slightly higher than beginner, but definitely way less than expert priced airbrush right here. And you can always get yours from spraygunner.com. They're nice enough to send this to us for review, and I think it is definitely a winner. Now, if you like these type of reviews here on the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That's a little bell icon in the bottom right corner to be the very first to like and comment on all these videos.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. TheLongWar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.